Now, again, good afternoon to every participant. The word this cathodic protection is not new to anybody, but it is new for protection of buildings because it is not very common in India. Now, what belief we have in our mind that RCC will have a very long life, and the reason we accept and we believe in the fundamentals that the raw materials used for production of cement are oxides of calcium carbonate and silica in majority, which is natural item. Its life is, you can say, 1,000 years. So it is assumed that the concrete made by using today's modern cement will have a useful life of more than 100 years. Similarly, as everybody knows that the steel will have a useful life much more than concrete, and the life of reinforced cement concrete, that is composite material of cement, concrete and steel, will be more than 100 years. Now, what is the truth which we are facing in today's life? With the advancement in technology in cement and steel, we became more and more confident that any structure made of reinforced cement concrete will have a lifespan of more than 100 years. This is our assumptions. We are believing today in this concept, but in the race of development, we forgot the law of conservation of energy, which is responsible for changing one form of material to another form. The cycle time may be few hours to 1,000 years. This we are facing every day in every material, but sometimes we are ready to accept it, sometimes we are not ready to accept the fact. What is contradiction? The recent failures of reinforced concrete structures have indicated that if the RCC structures are not properly designed with respect to the environment conditions, which is happening today in many cases, and all practical engineers, if good and proper construction practices are not adopted, that may be due to cost cutting, or that may be due to some malified intention, or proper and timely maintenance is not done. There are so many factors. Multiple occupancy may be there. Everybody may not be agreed to spending the money for maintenance. Then the next condition is that the deteriorated structure will have no solution but only demolition due to corrosion of steel. And nowadays, at least in Surat city, we know that every month one multi-story building is demolished. And if it is not demolished in time, may collapse on some day. This is the contradiction against the all technology and all, I'll say that, development in concrete. We are talking about from started with M5 to now M160. We are going in foreign countries more than that also, but that are limited to very important, costly and unique structures. It is not for common. My point is here that what the general buildings or general RCC structures are facing, for that some solution is required. And this is the reality. This is very typical case that the 8th floor and 7th floor of drawing room fell on the 6th floor slab. The Vuda Awas at Baroda, what the building looks from that, 2 apartments collapsed in the early morning. These are only 2 cases out of thousands in last 4 to 5 decades. It may be more than thousands. OK, the first image is of Kanhaiya Palace apartment in Surat, built in 1994. In this slabs of drawing rooms of 3 floors collapsed on 2nd May 2014. You can see the span. It is 94 and 14, just 20 years. And 3 persons lost their life. After that, one committee was appointed by Surat Municipal Corporation. Their opinion was that this is the reason, that poor maintenance leading to corrosion of steel. Obviously, then simply a concrete mass is there. It fell with its own weight. The second image is of collapse of 2 buildings built by Vadodara Urban Development Authority in 2002. That collapsed in the wee hours of 20th August 2013. Here also you can see the span 2002 to 2013, just 11 years. In this also 9 people were killed. Again, the reason was that poor construction, poor maintenance leading to corrosion of steel. Now this is the recent case. This is the case of staircase. The staircase was external and due to corrosion of steel on one fine morning, it collapsed. One student got seriously hurt in that because many of the tuition classes are there in this building. And newest one, laborers were sleeping just what is seen here, Ambuja cement shutter, and in the night the balcony slab fell on them. 2 persons expired. This building is now under demolition. Demolition process is going on. Probably that may be completed within few days. This was rejected just 8 months back by the municipal corporation and warning was given to the owners. But here also the case is the multiple ownership. It is very difficult. That's why my research was oriented to find out some solution to this wherever multiple ownership is there, because nobody is ready for maintenance. Then we talk a lot about corrosion. It may happen to any type of material. So that the definition is chemical reaction between material and its environment that causes deterioration of the material and its properties. This is the basic definition of corrosion. Here we are more concerned about the electrochemical reaction of the steel. In RCC structure, the corrosion in both concrete and steel occurs, but as we all know that corrosion of concrete is very slow process compared to the corrosion of steel. And also the corrosion of concrete gives early warning by its appearance, but corrosion of steel is observed only after it affects the surrounding concrete in the form of cracks. Otherwise, the picture shows the Buddha building. The surface is clearly showing that there is corrosion of concrete. OK, but no care was taken. Then later it affected the steel and then further corrosion, then loss in strength and collapse. Now, as we know that there is a need of corrosion protection of steel in RCC buildings, everybody accepts this. It is required because expected life of concrete is more than 100 years. What we design, we propagate and we give guarantee. Every structural designer gives that guarantee that structure will live for more than 100 years. Similarly, steel also more than 100 years. Real life of RCC structures, except few cases that I have gone through, that this 10 years or 12 years building collapse, generally it is 20 to 80 years. In Surat, I know many of the buildings that have completed nearly 35-40 years. They are at the stage of demolition. The major cause is corrosion of steel bars and progressive cracking in structural elements. Design deficiencies and poor construction along with corrosion leads to failure. Obviously, we take factor of safety 3, but by any reason, there is some deficiency in the design process or some poor construction is there, that may be due to poor construction practices or poor construction material. Along with corrosion, that is certainly going to the stage of failure. Now, there is urgent need of a system to protect the steel from further corrosion of existing buildings. This is the requirement of today's condition. This condition is mostly happening in coastal areas, and we have a long coastal line. Major cities are located around that. So obviously this is very important study. And what was the problem earlier, that you will see in the next slides. So what was the aim? The system shall be external, easy to install, easy to repair, simple in monitoring, reliable and cost effective. This was the aim from the beginning. Now, to achieve that, obviously we have to proceed in some direction. So anywhere the research is from the fundamentals only. See, corrosion process in RCC is electrochemical in nature. The process is very similar to a battery. Just like you have seen our dry cell, outside body is made of zinc, inside carbon rod is there. Between carbon rod and the zinc body, electrolyte. Positive and negative. So here also the same thing is there in corrosion of reinforcement. Corrosion results due to flow of electrons between cathodic and anodic sides of rebar. 4 basic elements are required for corrosion to occur. If this is not there, so no corrosion will be there. One is that anode, another is cathode, electrolyte and metallic path. So here we are, what is happening? Anode and cathode both are formed in the same bar or connected bars. Electrolyte is nothing, it is the concrete part. Concrete is electrically conductive and in the presence of moisture, it is very good conductor. Metallic path is there, means you have to combine these two parts by any metallic connection. Now, how this anode and cathode is formed in steel, embedded in concrete? One thing is that for corrosion, electrochemical cell, just like battery, shall be established. How it is established? The anode is the area where oxidation occurs and electrons are released. This is on the surface of reinforcement itself. The cathode is the area where reduction takes place or electrons are consumed. That electrons move and then it is consumed by the another portion of the steel. Means we are not providing anything from external side, but still anode and cathode is formed in the reinforcement. Steel in RCC acts as only cathode when it is in passive state. Passive means it is on the alkaline side. That is, its pH is more than 9.5. When passive layer is lost by reduction in the pH of concrete due to carbonation or by local breakdown or due to chloride ions, part of steel acts as anode and corrosion process starts. Now see, please remember these words: carbonation, local breakdown, because these two terms will come later on. I'll explain that how it is there. Now see, this is the reaction, basic reaction started from, I'll say that high school. Same reaction is. See, iron Fe is achieved from iron ore. So for extracting iron, melting process done means you are making the steel at higher energy level, and that energy level is achieved by providing heat and all the process of metallurgy. And everybody or every material has a tendency to be in comfortable states, means its original state. So what is happening? This steel is bifurcated into positive ions and electrons are released. This is the natural property of the steel for achieving its original stage of energy. And these electrons combine with moisture and oxygen and forms hydroxyl ion, that is OH minus. Now this OH ions combine again with the positive iron ions and then ferrous hydroxide is formed. Again, with the combination of oxygen and moisture, ferric hydroxide is formed, and the final form, that is at 6/7 stage, the reaction is, that is ferric hydroxide and that is nothing, it is rust. Now if you see this figure, the anode area which is shown here, the anode area releases electrons. These electrons move and combine with moisture and oxygen, and then again these hydroxyl ion combined with the Fe plus ion available. Now what happens? This becomes ferrous hydroxide, and later on at the final stage, this is converted to rust. That is the original stage of the iron ore. Now in the same bar, these two anode and cathodes are formed. And sometimes it happens that whenever we are using these epoxy coated bars, so whenever coating damage, that part becomes anode and remaining part behaves like cathode. Now there are several methods to control corrosion in RCC. Metallurgical method, this is the best one. Coating to reinforcement, corrosion inhibitors, coating to concrete, cathodic protection, design and detailing, realkalization of concrete. Now the question is that if so many methods are available, why we are facing such a problem? See, there are certain restrictions in this also, in all methods. What is there? See, metallurgical methods. You know that steel is different type of steels are available. Okay, one steel was introduced between I'll say that 1997 onwards, that was corrosion resistant steel, CRS. This is no doubt good. I have seen one construction, I have tested that also. So the building is still there, no cracks etc. formed. Very small building is there, ground plus 2. Probably what is happening to the is CRS steel is not known in the records. Then another is we can go for a stainless steel, but the property is not available. What is available in TMT bars and all that. So little costly, lifetime is unproven, and it is not common also. Once the Tata Steel is making, SAIL is making, but there is no record that now it is very commonly used for corrosion resistant. Now, but still lifetime is very good for that. So this is one method we can go for CRS, but here also we cannot say that corrosion will not occur. It is only corrosion resistant. It is not corrosion proof steel. OK, stainless steel is not used because it is costly also, and other properties are not suitable to RCC structures. Then corrosion inhibitors. These are chemicals, that is calcium nitrite and sodium nitrate. This can be mixed with the concrete. That delays the corrosion, but it cannot stop the corrosion. OK, delay in corrosion will be there. Then coating to reinforcement. Obviously, it is very common. Everybody knows epoxy coating, that green color coating is there. Cement slurry coating. Now it is not common, but this was used in Panji, Mandovi brace. Okay. Then stainless steel coating. Sometimes it happens that on these bars only stainless steel coating is done. And zinc coating is very common also. You have seen that transmission towers and all that, zinc coating. So here also that all have these certain limitations. Epoxy coating, there is problem of disbonding, and now it is discontinued. Many of the designers are not using this epoxy coating for steel because in this more chances of anode and cathode formation is there. Because at the time of compaction, the coating may get damaged. Life, we can say that some protection is there, but on no record, but from the literature it says that 40 years life is there. Now zinc coating is very good, but here also damage during construction is possible. If at one place the coating is removed, that will behave as anode and rest part of the steel will behave as cathode. Now coating to concrete, water-based and polymer-based coating. This now everybody is seeing that in the construction of flyovers. After that, that greenish color is there on the concrete surface. It is nothing, it is the water-based coating which protects the concrete, means it gives an impermeable surface so that moisture and oxygen do not enter, and also it gives aesthetic appearance. Here also no data is available because this is newer thing. Last 20 years we are seeing this. So how much life is protected, it is not sure, but I am sure that once you are covering the concrete by any type of film, that is certainly going to protect concrete from carbonation and then further ingress of oxygen moisture. Design and detailing. Once you take care in design and detailing, this becomes the most economical and durable. Along with that, if proper design and construction practices are followed, this is the most economical method, but we are lacking in this only. That's why we are facing this type of problem, that is corrosion. Then next is cathodic protection. See here, just I said that once we are making the circuit, just like battery, and you know that in the previous, nowadays whatever cells are available in that is not, otherwise previously it was happening that the outer body will get corroded and leakage will be there. Nowadays also, if you do not touch that battery for 1 or 2 years, you'll find that it is leaking, means the body is completely consumed. That is zinc body. Here the same thing is there. Internal CP in the form of ribbon etc. is used. External CP in the form of sacrificial anodes or impressed current system is used during and after construction. This I'll go in detail. This is electrochemical method which can be used internally at the time of construction or after construction. Permanently protected, longest effective life more than 100 years. Here what is happening in this cathodic protection, we are arresting the electrons. We are arresting the electrons which is responsible for electrochemical reaction. So obviously once electrons are not available, corrosion will not occur. Its initial cost is high. Now one more method is the realkalization of concrete. The impressed current is applied to increase the pH of the carbonized region of the concrete to a satisfactory level. This is on the experimental base. Few structures have undergone this process, and obviously this is very complicated and costly. The reason is that you have to go for repairing, you have to go for making a layer, from that you apply impressed current. That impressed current will improve the pH of the rest of the concrete. So obviously if a big slab is there, building is there, how it is possible? One by one, okay? Because many elements, if horizontal surface is there, then it is okay. But for beam, columns, slabs type of structure, it is never possible. Now, this table gives comparison of various corrosion protection methods. See, some methods, just like metallurgical method, okay? It is manufactured in steel plants. Okay, it is costly, but it can be used. But this is what this method is before construction. Means at the time of construction only you have to use this steel. Then corrosion inhibitors. This is also during construction. Here cost will vary depending upon the cost of the chemical. Then coating to reinforcement. This is also very complicated process. Epoxy coating, you know that cost is more. The reason is that it is processed in manufacturing plants. Cement slurry coating, nowadays it is not common. Zinc coating, again it is processed in manufacturing plants. So obviously these methods are before construction. You have to select the steel, go for coating and then use that in construction. Coating to concrete, it is good as I have said, but Do you think that all structures are coated in that manner in which flyovers are coated or bridges are coated? No. Design and detailing, as earlier said, it is the most economical method. So realkalization and cathodic protection. So these all, what about durability, cost and life, everything is compared from the literature. Now to 2020 is the completing 200 years of this technology. Very old technology. There's in 1820, Sir Humphrey Davy used CP in naval ships of Royal Navy. From there, this technology started. This was similar to consultancy work that Royal Navy approached him because he was expert in the electrochemical or electrochemistry. So he investigated and then provided this technology to Royal Navy, and then it was used in that naval ships. Then 1834, the research students of Sir Humphrey Davy only, Michael Faraday, discovered relation between corrosion, weight loss and current. Because see here, flow of electron is, hello, getting my voice? Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So here, because see, one thing is that we are using one metal to protect another metal. So obviously the cost is important. How much material will be required? That is also important. So that part was done by Michael Faraday. Then Thomas Edison in 1890 experimented ICCP, impressed current cathodic protection. Here we are not using two different metals. We are using external current to positive terminal to arrest the electron, but that was not successful. Then 30 to 40. See, this was very important in this protection. You know, the oil pipelines may be 100 kilometers to 2000, 3000 kilometers. It is steel basically. So just imagine that the oil flowing at very high pressure for this length 2000, 3000 kilometer, and suddenly at one point rusting takes place and pipeline is punctured. What will happen? So there, this technology I'll discuss later on because I have one detail of pipeline protection. So from 1930 to 45, there was no solution. So this was the only solution to protect pipelines from corrosion. And it was widely used at that time. 1959, then they tried it to bridges, and Richard Stratford was the first person who investigated this, that whether CP can be applied in bridges, and it was applied successfully in bridges. In 73, again CP system was used for enhancing life of bridges, more than 100 bridges in US. Then in 82, after successful application of this cathodic protection system to protect corrosion of steel in bridges, Federal Highway Administration announced the policy as a policy document that CP is useful for the bridges. In 84, UK also started applying CP to highway structures, and after that it slowly came to application of buildings. Now, what policy statement says? Cathodic protection is the only rehabilitation technique that has proven to stop corrosion in salt contaminated bridge decks, regardless of the chloride content in the concrete. See, here they have used, this is, I'll say, the Federal Highway Administration statement that has proven to stop corrosion. OK, it is not means mitigation or minimizing or all that, to stop corrosion in salt contaminated bridges. Then in ISO 12696, it also says that cathodic protection of steel in concrete is a technique that has been demonstrated to be successful in appropriate application in providing cost-effective long-term corrosion control for steel in concrete. Then again, British standard also says that cathodic protection is a means, possibly the only means, okay, of indefinitely extending the life of reinforced concrete structures which are suffering reinforcing steel corrosion arising from chloride intrusion. Now, the question is that if these authorities say that this is the only means and this is proven to be successful, then where is the problem? Why it is not implemented to protect the steel from corrosion? These many documents are there which gives approvals of CP for RCC structure. FSWA in 1982, UK Concrete Society in 1989, NACE, National Association of Corrosion Engineers. This was started initially by 9 mechanical engineers, this association, and they were mostly concerned with the steel structure or industrial structures, but later on, almost they are the authority for giving so many guidelines, so many handbooks for corrosion protection of steel and other metals also. Then American Concrete Institute, that literature is also there. Then BS code is there, British standard. Then European code is there. Document the very good solution to stop corrosion. Now there is one, I'll say, doubt among the people that whether cathodic protection to new structures can be at the time of we are putting generator, putting all that facilities in the or any, I'll say that any RCC structure, other things we are doing, ancillary works. So whether with that this CP system can be installed. So for that, whatever literature is available that says that it is uncommon to find the use of cathodic protection justified for a new structure at the design stage if alternative economical means are available to prevent corrosion. See here what they have used, if alternative economical means are available to prevent corrosion. Obviously other methods we have seen that metallurgical, we can use CRS steel with little costly. Okay, we can use corrosion inhibitors. Okay, we can use coating of steel, we can use coating of concrete. So that's why this word is used here. How then second opinion says that, however, if a decision is taken at design stage to apply cathodic protection to a new structure, provision can be made during construction to facilitate the later application of CP. Means we can have provision at the time of planning and design and construction that okay, let us have in future if corrosion occurs, we will use this system, cathodic protection system, and for that provisions can be made. What provisions are required later on you will understand when everything is explained. And this will significantly reduce cost and improve and simplify effective current distribution, monitoring and control. Because see here, without monitoring and control, you cannot say that CP is working. Okay, you cannot have the things hidden. Now, what type of CP systems are used? One is that impressed current cathodic protection system. Here the large driving force available can protect a large, even uncoated structure in high resistivity environment. See, high resistivity means suppose the electrolyte which you are considering is having very high resistance. So at that time, current requirement will be more, potential driving potential will be more. So for that, we cannot use the natural EMF of the metals. So in that case, impressed current cathodic protection system is required. And here only few anodes are required because the material is not consumed. External current is provided that positive terminal attracts the electrons. So there is no consumption of anode material. The voltage may be adjusted to allow for environment and coating changes. You can adjust the voltage and current. This impressed current cathodic protection system wherever the substations are there, you will feel that it is similar to the substation of electrical transformer. The same things are used, only thing that here potential may be ranging from 10 to 12 volt, 24 volt. In our case, whatever substation is there, that is with the 1100 kVA to 440, and then at the home it is supplied as 220. But there it deals with the lower voltage, but the system is similar to that only. Then in case of sacrificial anode cathodic potential system, it is simple to install independent of any source of electric power. It is very important for buildings. Nobody will allow you to have external wiring with some type of power supply, because somewhere leakage is there, short circuit may be there. Suitable for localized protection. Suppose one building is there, you can use for that. This cannot be used for pipeline project, sacrificial node. OK, that's why this word is used here. Suitable for localized protection, less liable to cause interaction on neighboring structures. Now, what is this SSAP? Sacrificial anode cathodic protection means anode will be consumed, it will sacrifice itself, it will be corroded, and it will protect the steel. That's why the name is sacrificial anode cathodic protection. How it happens? The corrosion takes place when two metals are immersed in a conductive solution or environment. It is just like at school level, many of you must have done in case of physics, that you are immersing two rods in acidic solutions, zinc and copper, and then you are showing that some potential is developed, current is flowing. The same thing is here. The potential difference facilitates electron flow between these two metals. The less resistant metal becomes anode and the more resistant metal becomes cathode. Due to flow of electrons and involvement of dissimilar two metal corrosion. The driving force for current and corrosion is the potential difference developed between two metals. Just I have said that is similar to battery. The same thing is here. Now, what relative position of few metals in galvanic series? It is part of metallurgy. Maybe new for you people. Noble material, you know that platinum and gold is there. If you go to the fundamentals, you find that why this gold is important. Gold plating is done on temples. OK. It remains in golden color for number of years. There is no corrosion in that. Then next comes silver. Silver is having some effect of corrosion. If you find that silver utensils, some black color is there due to atmospheric corrosion. Then nickel, brass also becomes blackish like that. Tin, lead, stainless steel. Its corrosion rate is less compared to due to chromium addition and all that. Then cast iron, steel, aluminum, zinc and magnesium. So once you move from platinum to magnesium, magnesium is active. Platinum is, I'll say that, noble or less active or non-active, I'll say that. This is the electromotive force series of metals. Here we are interested in the position of this copper, that is 0.34. Then come to this iron minus 0.44. Here it is plus 0.34. It is minus 0.44. Then zinc minus 0.763 and magnesium minus 2.363. So when we connect these two dissimilar metals, it is electrically connected. So obviously electron flow will be there and the more anodic material will be consumed and cathodic material will be saved. This is the basic concept used in this cathodic protection system. So we have to select these two metals. One is already sure, that is our steel bars, that is minus 0.44. Another material we have select from the lower part, either zinc or magnesium. concrete. Now see this, I'll say that now this is completing 200 years. Whatever the shining things are seen by you, it is nothing, it is the zinc bars. You can imagine the size of these zinc bars. They are connected to the metal body with the insulators. So these two metals are separated and now electrolyte is there. Electrolyte is nothing, it is the saline water of the sea that provides conductivity to these two metals, and electrons start flowing from the steel body of the ship to the zinc bars, and zinc bars absorb that electrons and corrode themselves or sacrifice themselves, and then the ship is protected. Otherwise, always the concept is that if sea means in sea water, the ship is there made of metal, how it is possible that we have the life of ship for 30-40 years when it is in the sea itself? And similarly, the reinforcement protected by concrete, there also we are having the life 30 to 40 years. So this is the reason. And when it comes back to the yard, shipping yard, these bars are changed again. So here consumption is too high because one side a very large amount of steel is there. Another part which is protecting, that is zinc bars are there. So their size may be 2 meter, 1.5 meter like that. Here sacrificial anode cathodic protection used for underground tank. Wherever underground tanks are there, it is for storage of oil, or if you see at the petrol pumps, there this type of anodes are connected by wire and then it is placed in the ground. So one connection is with the wire, another is through the electrolyte, that is soil, and the circuit is completed. After some time it is replaced. These anodes are replaced. So it is very successful in protecting the oil industry and shipping industry. For jetty also, there is no problem. Simple bars are connected with insulator and the saline water works as electrolyte. Current flows between those two metals. Electrons are released and they are consumed by zinc bars. After some time, these zinc bars are replaced. In case of pipeline, this pipeline is connected with the sacrificial anodes. Inside metal is there and it is packed in the backfill material. So it depends upon that how much resistivity of the soil is there. On that basis it is designed and it is placed at some distance. But this is during construction only. After construction, another method is used. Now, how we are going for sacrificial anode cathodic protection with monitoring? See, this is our steel bar in concrete and this is sacrificial anode. One terminal is taken from wire. It is connected to data logger. Another is taken from this sacrificial anode and that is connected to data logger. These two metals have different EMF value. So obviously a cell is established and with this cell current starts flowing. This releases electrons. That electron itself is the is recorded by data logger. That potential difference also is recorded by data logger. This is the basic concept. Now this is the sacrificial anodes of zinc used for pipeline. This is 1 meter length and 100 mm diameter. Whenever construction is going on, pipeline laying, 300 to 700 meter approximately length is laid and then it is not connected. Then after some gap, another 300 to 700 meter, and these 300 to 700 meter length with the metallic wire, it is connected to this anode and this anode is placed near 3 to 5 meter distance, and the soil between these two acts as electrolyte. Now, whatever electrons flow through this circuit that are absorbed by this zinc anode, and it goes on corroding. So this is from the IOC project near Raipur. And these type of terminals are, wires are taken around about 300 to 400 or 500 meter also to the nearby road, because see, every day it is to be monitored that what is happening. So that terminals are there. Number of terminals you can see. One terminal gives only to zinc anode, another is for only pipeline, another is between zinc and pipeline. So, and double wiring is done. Suppose one is damaged, so again you have not to excavate, you can use other terminal. So these potential difference are measured regularly, and when this whole pipeline is laid, the intermediate pieces are connected throughout, and then the whole system is placed on ICCP. Means then current or and potential difference is provided externally to the pipeline, because this is costly item anode. So for a pipeline, a number of anodes may be required. Then again, inspection of that anode, that what is happening to that, whether it is available or totally consumed. So that becomes a costly process. So the whole system is shifted to ICCP. Means externally you are providing current. You are not depending upon the potential difference of two different metals. Then what type of anodes are used for RCC? One is this discrete anode. This small pieces, round shape, you can see. This is placed in the concrete and the wire is connected to the reinforcement. So one connection is through the wire, another is through the concrete. Concrete acts as electrolyte. Here ribbon is placed near the bars and with plastic clamps this is connected, and at other end it is connected to reinforcement. So what happens here? Whatever electrons are released by the anodic sides of steel, that is collected by this ribbon and it is consumed. But you can see here, this can be used during construction only. This can be used during construction only. So every time it is not possible. And probably after so much experience, you can also see that how many people are using this type of anodes in construction. Probably nowhere you must have seen, except for very, very important structures. They take care of that. And especially in, I'll say that in oil industry. This is mesh type anode. Generally, suppose you know that a retaining wall is there or bridge abutment is there. You know that reinforcement is corroding. So top layer of concrete cover is removed, and then on that these mesh is clamped by nails, and then on that again rich mortar is done. So it is inside and somewhere in between they are connected to reinforcement at some intermediate level. So that completes the circuit. After that, this anode mesh will be consumed. We cannot monitor that what is happening inside, in previous case also and in this case also. Prop type, you have to fill the hole and then you have to place in that this anode. This will be consumed. Monitoring is not possible. In ceramic anode also monitoring is possible, but nowhere the monitoring reference is given. Here you have to think that you have to make a hole to place this anode. If the structure is already deteriorated, probably no structural designer will permit to again drill a hole in that. This is magnesium anodes with backfill. Backfill material is generally bentonite and gypsum, which provides good conductivity, retains moisture for longer time. So that's why, and its proportion is 75% bentonite 25% or 20%, gypsum. Now see, looking all these problems, it was envisaged that there is a need to develop a type of anode which will fulfill or which will overcome the difficulties of cathodic protection which is available in the market. So development of sacrificial surface anode for CP of RCC structures was planned. In that, two facts are there. The cathodic protection system is well established, as you have seen in the previous literature, for metallic and other structures, but a simplified system is required to be developed for RCC structures. See, here simplified system is required because so much complication probably people are not ready to accept. So that's why with the guarantee of protecting steel from corrosion, still this method is not common. The existing sacrificial anode cathodic protection system are either internal, that is discrete anode, ribbon anode, or external, mesh anode and probe anode, in which direct monitoring of anode is not feasible. Once people invest or spend money, they want that what is the guarantee that it is working. So there is a need to develop a cathodic protection system for existing buildings, which is external, easy in installation and replacement, facilitates monitoring, causing no loss in aesthetic appearance of structure, reliable and economical. So this was the requirement. So after so many experimental study, first it was established that if I put an anode on the surface of concrete electrically connected to the reinforcement, potential difference is available, current flow is allowed in the concrete or not, or whether electrons are flowing through the concrete cover or not. This was tested, and after success of that stage 1, the modified design of stage 2, that is sacrificial surface anode stage 2 of magnesium with clamping facility was developed. So here this was prepared that one magnesium rod is there, electrical terminal is taken out, and the section is pipe section, cut portion, so that it remains in the contact of concrete surface, and clamping is also possible. This was the first requirement, that whether it can be clamped to concrete surface or not. So this building was repaired. At the time of repairing, you can see that all borders are repaired. Spalling of concrete was there, that was removed. New reinforcement somewhere, means 1 or 2 reinforcements are added, and in that reinforcement, after cleaning the surface properly, wires were connected, and that wires are taken at the time of plaster. So terminal is available. You can see this here. These wires are available. If you see this here, it is from the reinforcement. Here also it is from the reinforcement. So such wires are taken throughout the periphery of the building. It is multi-story building. Now here this anode is attached, and it is permanently attached, and these terminals are separated for recording the data. That is difference of potential between reinforcement and this anode. After 2-3 months, this was the condition, that bulging of magnesium rod was there, volume expansion due to corrosion, and this was taken out, and this is the condition. See, no current is provided, nothing is, only two metals are connected together having different EMF, and this is the original, and the rest, next one is corroded. and these were the potential measured between these two, that is anode and magnesium anode and reinforcement. This is also a pattern on some other day. At different days, these are calculated. 2017. Okay. Now here, if you see this drop in potential is there. This drop in potential is due to drying of the surface due to sunlight. Drying of the surface due to sunlight. So obviously, moisture is going to affect the conductivity of concrete. So this was successful, that once potential difference is there, corrosion is taking place, electron is going to flow, that is to be arrested by anodes. So this field study provided the sufficient proof that this sacrificial surface anode is a success. Now looking to that, further design was changed and now it is in the box type. Here this zinc anode is there. From that, this red wire terminal is taken out. The blue color is backfill material. And if you see this PVC flexible sheet, because you have seen in the stage 2 case that volume expansion is there. So there should be some scope to absorb that volume expansion so that it remains in the context of concrete surface. It is not detached due to pressure. So full contact shall be there. So for that, this PVC flexible sheet is there, 8 mm, that will absorb the expansion of this anode due to rusting. And this is the final picture of the actual anode. These are the stages of manufacturing. This is PVC sheet cut to the size of that. This is zinc piece, pure zinc. Now this is filled in the bag with backfill. And this cloth is of that quality that it will allow the entry of moisture or movement of moisture. So obviously that will give the contact with the concrete surface. Now this is the working of SSA. You put on the surface of the concrete any RCC element and electrically you have to connect these two, that is this anode and reinforcement. These two are to be connected electrically. Rest part is here, that is the concrete cover. Its conductivity is very, very important. The whole system works on the basis of conductivity of the concrete cover. Now, how it can be applied to columns? See, suppose one multi-story building is there. On the top, you just open the reinforcement, or if it is open due to corrosion, remove everything, clean that bar, connect two wires in two different bars and check that whether these two wires are providing continuous electrical conductivity. If it is okay, means whatever stirrups are there that are facilitating the flow of current. So one thing is sure that connectivity is there. Then that top wire taken from top is connected to data logger and another terminal from data logger is connected to the sacrificial surface node. The terminal available in sacrificial surface node. The data logger will record the potential difference between these two metals, that is metal used for SSA and steel. That will measure the current flow between these two also and potential difference also. So that is sure that whatever electrons are released, that is converted to current, and now this current is measured, and obviously if it is connected electrically, the surface node is going to absorb that electrons. So there is no doubt that it is not working. In all other methods earlier explained to you, whatever is available in market, in that I have seen the website of almost 200 companies. Nobody is providing such monitoring system that okay, you are sure that it is electrically connected. Now this is the building in which this study has been done. Now these are the terminals as I have shown that. Now this is the improved SSA attached to the surface of slab, and this slab is below washroom. So obviously here moisture is there, maximum chances of corrosion are there. So that's why it is attached here. So 2A and 2B points are given. 2A is nothing, it is the point of anode, and 2B is the point from where terminal from reinforcement is taken. Now this is the data logger used for the measurement on means recording of potential difference and current. Now this is 16 channel data logger. First 8 are used for potential difference and rest 8 are used for current measurement. So 1 and 9, 1 is for potential difference, 9 is for 9 to 16 are for current. So here you can imagine that this picture shows that it is 0.0481 milliampere, means 48 microampere current is flowing due to corrosion of current reinforcement only. See, no power supply, nothing is there. It is due to corrosion of reinforcement only. And this is highest one at that place, other places it is less. OK, but you can imagine that this much fast corrosion is there. So this recording shows that the circuit is complete. Whatever electrons are there, that are certainly going to be absorbed by anode material, and that anode will be consumed and steel will be saved from corrosion. And after success of this, the sacrificial surface node, this is new term. See, in all literature you will find that ICCP and SACP, sacrificial anode cathodic portion. I have used the term sacrificial surface anode. It is not embedded in concrete, it is on the surface of concrete and uses the electrical conductivity of the concrete cover. So I applied for patent. First, I applied for civil engineering in that structural, but it went to metallurgical engineering, and now few days back I have seen that now it is transferred to chemical engineering, because involvement is electrical, metallurgical, chemical, and application is in civil engineering. So now it is transferred to chemical section. It is published on August 2018. Examination is pending. Now similar patent, Canadian patent is available, but now if I explain that you can understand the difference. Here the holes are made. First the top surface of concrete is removed, reinforcements are cleaned, then again in the parent concrete drill is made. In that drill with backfill anodes are inserted, and that anode wire is connected to reinforcement, and the whole thing is covered with the fresh concrete. So obviously all the things are inside. What is happening to that anode nobody can say. This is the nearest patent available to my patent application, but here monitoring is not there. Now how you come to know that what is the how much corrosion is there in the structure? So for that, if you have got terminals taken out from the reinforcement, and if you measure the potential difference with the copper sulfate reference electrode, if it gives -200 value, there are 5% chances of corrosion. Minus 200 to minus 350, 50% chances. More negative than minus 350, 95% of chances. This is from British Standard 7361. Now just remember these values 200 to 350 and more than 350. Now in this building, if you see the third column, reinforcement taken out and half cell potential, it is minus 520, minus 0.530, minus 0.495. Okay, and wherever structures are repaired, I have seen that 12 mm bar has become only 4 mm. So this much corrosion is there. It is by the virtue of IS 456 that the building is existing, because their factor of safety is approximately 3 by any method, which is working stress or limit state method. So that factor of safety 3 is helping us, and that's why our structures are safe. Otherwise corrosion level is very, very high. Okay, so these many terminals are connected, and on that basis observations are taken, recorded. See, if you see the pattern, this first is potential difference and second one shows the current. The potential difference obviously depends upon the resistance between these 2 points, that is anode point and cathode point, from where reinforcement is taken. Flow of current gives the rate of corrosion. I'll say that, not rate, actually the stage of corrosion. Potential difference, this is for 1 and 1B. Okay, here it is uniform. Uniform corrosion is there, it is taking place, but it is uniform. If you see this 2A and 2B, here current flow pattern is very high. If you see from the 0 value, bottom value, and potential difference is available that allows the flow of electron, generation of electron is there due to corrosion. Both things are available here. This is between 3A and 3B. Here uniform current flow is there, and whatever drops and peaks you see in the potential difference here, that is in between. Suppose due to some reason connectivity is not there, so that gives the drop, because see, concrete is also conductive, but you cannot say that it is conductive like metals. This is again point 8A and 8B. Here see, if you see that uniform corrosion is there, so that can be stopped if it is connected to anode. And this is not, I'll say that these things are not visible. It is so low current that to procure such type of data logger which records current in micro ampere is also difficult part. Now if you see the stages, sacrificial surface node, then connected to this 2A, 2B, then these are the readings. And this is the condition of zinc anode after 3 months. You can see this after removal this for inspection. Now, what various SACP systems are available? Sometimes people ask that when already SACP is available, why this is required? See, in probe type anode, this requires drilling of hole and probe is inserted into concrete along with backfill. Monitoring through measurement of voltage and current is possible, but nowhere it is given that how to measure this. There is possibility of cracking of concrete. If it is column, it is very, very risky. Okay. Beams, columns, probably if it is damaged, more drilling means more risk. Mesh and ribbon type of node, this is placed on the surface of concrete and is covered by low resistivity mortar. Ribbon is also can be by making groove in the slab or groove in the beam. It can be put inside, and again that is covered by rich mortar. Here also monitoring is not possible except from surface appearance and crack development. You can say that whether it is working, still material is there, anode material, or it is totally consumed. Thermal sprayed surface coating. It is just like you are spraying zinc, molten zinc on the surface. This technology is costly, not used for RCC structures. Monitoring is not possible. It is similar to galvanized iron sheet. If you have seen that GI sheets, shining sheets are available. After some time it becomes red. Total zinc on the surface is consumed by this process. So it becomes red. So whatever old sheets you see, that becomes brownish color. Now, what is the benefit of this sacrificial surface node? This is to be fixed on surface with the clamp. We are not breaking or damaging the concrete surface. Monitoring is possible with data loggers and can be easily replaced. If I am attaching, we can remove 4 screws and we can place another one. So here replacement is also very easy. Now what factors influence the working of SSACP? Obviously, see, once you are dealing with the structure, number of factors may be there. One is water cementitious material ratio. Obviously, cement content is going to affect the density of concrete, so conductivity of concrete. What type of cementitious material you are using, that is also going to affect. Presence of salts in concrete making materials, age of concrete, density of concrete, size and type of aggregate, air voids in concrete, degree of saturation, temperature. This 8 and 9 number are more influencing factors. See, effect of temperature, you can see that it is for 20th November from midnight. If you see that morning 8 up to this point. After that, this location of this anode is in concrete side from morning. So from 8 it starts dropping, 12 noon, then 16, and then after that it again regains its potential difference. It means whenever concrete becomes somewhat dry, the potential difference drops. Okay, the resistance of concrete increases. So if moisture is available, so moisture is one of the major factor, and that gives more conductivity. So obviously it is useful for that working of SSA also. Now, next part is that why CP is not common for RCC buildings. See, this technology is 200 years old. In building, I am saying that in last 20 years it is used, but not very common. The reason is that cost of buildings are considered as very less compared to the cost of bridges, cooling towers and other RCC structures. So once we consider that the cost of the structure is less, why to use this costly technology to protect steel from corrosion? Second reason is in one building there may be multiple ownership, so decision making is difficult because nobody gives guarantee that okay, now it is working. So obviously people are not ready for that. There is always dispute when multiple ownership is there. Second, the general perception of public that if repaired or rehabilitated the structure element remains good for very long period. Even all of you also think that once you go for repairing it for again it is for 20-30 years. Okay, no, it will last for 3 to 5 years only till the pH of the new concrete or new mortar which you have placed does not fall below 9.5. Up to that period only it remains okay, and after pH falls below 9.5, the same process earlier will start. So whatever repairing is going on nowadays in cities for as crack repairing or spalling of concrete, again putting reinforcement and plastering, that lasts only for 5 years, maximum 7 years. So what we think that once we are repairing, its life is increased for 15-20 years. No, it is for I'll say that 3 to 7 years only, depending upon the location, depending upon the condition. Okay. Then another perception is that the technology is too costly. No doubt, when you talk to any expert, CP expert, you will also feel that okay, it is too costly. It is just like the corona treatment. You know that its medicine is not there. Okay. Whatever medicine is available that is given to you, still you are getting a bill of 8 to 10 lakhs rupees just for 15-20 days. When nothing is special in that, no special medicine is given to you except remdesivir injection, then why it is so costly? Same thing is here also. Another point is that CP is like monopoly item in the hands of very few companies. In India, I have seen that these companies are very rich because they deal with richest customer, that is oil industry. So obviously they are not interested in RCC structures. They are interested in oil industry only. And whatever is there or related to that. Another reason is that what this European standard says, cathodic production of steel in concrete is a specialist multidisciplinary activity. Expertise is required in the fields of electrochemistry, concrete technology, civil and or structural engineering and cathodic protection engineering. Now they use the word cathodic protection engineering, means it is again a specialized branch. So if it is multidisciplinary, so it becomes very difficult to justify anything. I have taken help of metallurgy department at Dr. Gandhi Diploma College. I have taken help of electrical engineering, electronics also, because see, measurement of such a small voltage and current, it was very difficult. Measurement is possible, then recording was not possible. So almost 6 months I have wasted in searching the data loggers which can record currents in microampere, because you do not know that which type of equipment is required. Okay, so this is also one of the reason that it is multidisciplinary activity. That's why it is not common. Now, how it is feasible? What is the economics of this sacrificial surface node? See, the cost of one SSA is around 1000 to 1200 rupees. The cost of data logger varies from 1 lakh to 3 lakh rupees. That depends upon how many channels. That may be 64 or 96 channels. The cost of wiring is less than cost of CCTV wiring. The reason is that here we can use 4 core, 8 core, 16 core cable, and that cable will move to the data logger point. And the small wires can be connected to the different anodes. The labor charge for installation may be around rupees 50,000 for a building. Because see, in vertical direction, if you have to install, obviously labor charge will be more. In this, all consultancy charges to be added. And now, it's my opinion that if a building can afford CCTV, intercom, centralized AC, the cost of CP is not a concern after development of this SSACP. Whatever I have developed, it is the economical model. It is from my personal view. It is not from any company which have a consortium. We see every industry, whether it is cathodic protection industry or any manufacturing unit, ultimately they talk in market that we are giving this and that at very less price, but they have one understanding among them that below this level we have not to do anything. So that amount is always fixed. Below that, nobody will do your work. Now, this is data from SMC website. In 2006, there were 1000 high-rise buildings, means 7 floors or more than 7, and 209 commercial buildings. 2006. Now in 2020, the numbers may be round about 4,000 high-rise buildings and commercial maybe around about 1,000 or more than 1,000. So if so many buildings are there, this is coastal city, and if reinforcement is going to corrode, so after 20-30 years, the demolition process starts. Nowadays, every 1 month, at least I know that one building is demolished because it is not maintained properly. Corrosion is to the such level that once a part or balcony collapses, Surat Municipal Corporation gives warning to them for vacating. Notices are given to them. Sometimes it is vacated. Sometimes people are wise enough, so they go for demolition themselves. Otherwise, SMC comes for demolition. Now in Bombay also, many of the buildings are going for reconstruction. Reconstruction is nothing. It is demolition of old and constructing new building at the same place with more facilities. But the question is that if one building is demolished, it is loss of national property only. And whatever, see, it is purchased from the money of anybody's pocket. But if you are demolishing that, only land value remains, rest of the money is lost. So whether it can be protected in that sense or not. So my opinion is that by this technology, we can protect all such buildings, because here the guarantee is there. The once you attach this, no further corrosion will take place, and you can examine the anodes, that how much anodes is left. You replace that anode. Only thing is that proper connectivity and data logging is to be done so that it is dead sure that whatever corrosion is taking place, electrons are released that are consumed by anode material. That is surety. There are few very important points related to that, because people are now software savvy. They want that just you feed my building to your software and tell me that how many anodes are required, where is the location, and then we'll go for that. It is not possible than that. The location for installation of such anodes are possible only by investigation and not by any standard procedure, because building is just like a body. Different body, human body behaves differently. Similarly, building behaves. The damage may be at any part. It is not sure that every time that certain location will be there, because original body, that is original construction, is of what quality, what is done in planning, what design deficiency are there. Based on that, something is happening, or it is the use by which corrosion is taking place. Many points are there. One point is that the anodes are to be installed after half cell potential measurement, and where the most negative value is observed, the anodes can be installed there. The method of cathodic protection is different than all other cathodic protection. Means this method is different than all other, and that's why this patent is applied. Then one more point is that sacrificial surface node works effectively when installed on the surface of concrete adjacent to reinforcement. On the back side, reinforcement should be there so that it is getting shortest path for flow of electron. So we know that in location of or on the surface, the difference of half cell potential of anode and cathode is less in closed circuit than open circuit due to resistance of concrete and steel. If you measure half cell potential separately for anode, separately for steel, you will find that when you are connecting that, it is somewhat less. That is due to resistance of concrete. Second is that suppose consider the case of slab. Consider just 2 minutes only. Hello. Hello. Please mute. Just 2 minutes only. When multiple anodes are installed, there is distribution of current along all anodes. This is observed while installing these anodes. The reason is that suppose one slab is there on one corner, suppose I am attaching. So each bar is allowing flow of electron. The bars which are giving shortest path, that may allow more, The bar which is giving longer path, that will allow less, but all bars are involved in allowing flow of electrons. Now the only major requirement of this sacrificial surface node is that conductivity of concrete. There is one method for testing the conductivity of concrete. I use that also, but that will take much more time, so that's I have not included here. Thank you everybody for listening me. If you have any question, please you can ask.
Thank you